Amish gardeners are known for their thriving vegetable patches, lush flower beds, and bountiful harvests, all achieved without modern chemical shortcuts. What's even more impressive is that many Amish farmers work with challenging soil conditions, including heavy clay. If you've ever struggled with clay soil, you know how stubborn it can be, compacted, slow draining, and often unyielding to delicate plant roots. But the Amish have mastered the art of transforming this difficult soil into rich, productive earth. Their time-tested methods rely on natural amendments, careful soil management, and an intuitive understanding of how to work with, rather than against, the land. The good news? You don't need a horse-drawn plow or a generations-old farm to use these techniques. Whether you're growing in raised beds, backyard rows, or even containers, these Amish-inspired secrets will help you turn dense clay into a thriving garden soil. One of the core Amish principles is feeding the soil before feeding the plants. Unlike quick-fix fertilizers that only provide a temporary boost, the Amish rely on deep composting to fundamentally change the structure of their clay soil. Instead of just adding a layer of compost on top, they work organic matter deep into the ground, sometimes digging down over a foot to incorporate it properly. The secret ingredient? Well-aged manure. Horse, cow, and chicken manure are staples in Amish gardens, but they never use them fresh. Instead, they compost manure along with leaves, straw, and kitchen scraps until it's broken down into a rich, dark humus. This not only improves soil structure but also introduces a steady supply of nutrients. If manure isn't available, composted vegetable scraps, coffee grounds, and shredded newspaper can work wonders. For best results, work at least 4 to 6 inches of compost into the top layer of your clay soil every season. Over time, this will introduce beneficial microorganisms and earthworms, which will naturally aerate the soil and prevent compaction. The Amish treat their soil like a living quilt, layering it with natural materials to protect it from erosion, retain moisture, and encourage healthy microbial life. Unlike conventional mulching, which often involves a single layer of wood chips or straw, the Amish use multiple layers of organic matter throughout the year. In spring and summer, they spread chopped leaves, grass clippings, and straw around their plants to suppress weeds and retain moisture. By fall, they switch to heavier layers of rotted hay, shredded corn stalks, or even sawdust to insulate the soil for winter. Over time, these materials break down and integrate into the soil, further lightening the dense clay and improving drainage. If you want to replicate this method, apply mulch in layers, starting with a fine-textured material like grass clippings, followed by coarser materials like straw or shredded leaves. As it decomposes, simply add more on top, and your clay soil will gradually transform into a rich, loamy bed. One of the biggest mistakes gardeners make with clay soil is over-tilling. Many believe that aggressively breaking up the compacted earth will solve drainage issues, but in reality, heavy tilling can destroy beneficial soil structure and worsen compaction over time. The Amish approach is much gentler. While traditional Amish farmers often use horse-drawn plows, they do so with precision, only working the soil when necessary, and never turning it over completely. Instead, they practice shallow tilling, which loosens the surface without disturbing the deeper soil layers. This allows plant roots and microbes to do the deeper work naturally. For a modern adaptation, use a broad fork or a garden fork, rather than a rototiller. Insert the tool into the soil, rock it back and forth to create air pockets, and move on, without actually flipping the soil over. This method improves drainage and aeration while preserving the essential soil life that helps break down clay over time. The Amish rarely leave their soil bare. Even during the off-season, they plant cover crops to improve the structure and fertility of their land. The most effective cover crops for breaking up clay include daikon radish, red clover, and winter rye. Daikon radish, sometimes called tillage radish, grows deep tap roots that drill through compacted soil, naturally aerating and loosening it. Red clover not only fixes nitrogen into the soil, but also creates an extensive root system that keeps clay from hardening. Winter rye protects the soil from erosion and adds organic matter when tilled under in spring. To use this method, plant cover crops in late summer or early fall and let them grow until early spring. Then either mow them down and leave them as mulch or lightly incorporate them into the soil to boost organic matter levels. Clay soil holds water longer than sandy soil but also dries into rock-hard chunks when left unchecked. The Amish have perfected the art of watering deeply and efficiently to maintain consistent moisture without causing waterlogging. Instead of frequent shallow watering, they use deep irrigation methods. One technique involves burying unglazed clay pots, known as olas, near plant roots. These pots slowly release moisture directly to the roots, preventing runoff and ensuring the soil stays evenly damp. Another method involves trench irrigation, digging small furrows between rows and filling them with water instead of overhead watering, which can lead to surface crusting in clay soil. For a simple home adaptation, use drip irrigation or soaker hoses buried under mulch to keep moisture levels steady, while preventing evaporation and runoff. Perhaps the most valuable Amish secret isn't a specific technique, it's their long-term mindset. Instead of expecting overnight results, they treat soil improvement as a continuous process. By steadily adding organic matter using cover crops, practicing careful aeration, and working in harmony with the land, they transform even the most stubborn clay into rich, productive soil over several seasons. If you want lasting results, commit to the process. The Amish have spent generations perfecting their soil-building techniques, and their success proves that even the most challenging clay soil can be transformed into a gardener's dream. By adopting their methods, deep composting, layered mulching, gentle aeration, strategic cover cropping, and wise watering, you can achieve healthier, more productive soil without relying on synthetic shortcuts. If you found these Amish secrets helpful, don't forget to subscribe to Hydro Haven for more gardening wisdom. Share this with fellow gardeners and let's continue learning from the best. Happy gardening!